Alright, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Musty Gaming here, and today we are here with another episode of Account Coaching Series featuring Kenny's account. Now, I did get a request from Kenny on the Discord that says, me and my friend are king of 3547, if you can mention that in the video. So, yes. So Kenny, although he's currently at 3227, he said he's going to actually migrate to 3547, I believe. So for that note, as requested, I have mentioned it for him. But yeah, so Kenny here is going to be the king of 3547. And it's a great honor to introduce this account to everyone else here and those members who will be at 3547. And also at the same time, this is probably I don't know how to sugarcoat it, but this is the most infantry simp account that I've ever seen. Ever seen. So it's gonna be very exciting. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and take a look at Kenny's account. So this is Kenny. He is at wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8-digit 64 account number, governor ID, with 3.5 billion kill points and 110 million power. So a really, really good power. In terms of kill points, I'm assuming he has some off days, but yeah, overall, very strong looking account, I would say. And he's sitting on 18 VIP 18 with 1591 days of consecutive logins. So yeah, I'm assuming there was some days that he couldn't log in. I'm assuming. Because him and I are only like 100, 200 something days apart, and he is half of my governor ID. So yeah, I'm assuming that he quit in the beginning and then came back or something like that, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, seeing VIP 18 is really, really nice. Obviously, I think hitting VIP 19 is the best, but yeah, 18 is more than good enough in my opinion. And I said, do you have any short-term or long-term goals, I think? And then I asked gold head count, as I do for everyone. He said, maybe another set for another infantry. And this, remember this, guys. Remember this, because this gets funnier as we look at his account. And he's sitting on 49 gold heads. He is sitting on very few amount of speed ups. I'm assuming he recently maybe had pushed for Zenith Power Skin or whatever that might be. But yeah, he is currently on low on speed ups, but that's okay. That's not really the point of the account coaching. He actually just sent me those slides, and I actually put those in there without really thinking too much about it. So yeah, but that's where he's at. Now let's first take a look at his very first setup. And as you look at it, this account is pretty stacked. You guys can see that he has KPK weapon and helmet, uncritted and iconic 1, but still really good, and has iconic 5 hope cloak, which is really nice, and then eternal night, shields return, both critted and iconic 5. So 3 iconic 5 critted pieces are amazing. And he also has Sacred Grasp at iconic 3 credit. I'm assuming that he didn't give it iconic 4 or 5 because it doesn't really matter. It's too much for the gloves. But yeah, very, very strong setup, I'll say, with credit iconic 3 ring with iconic 1 uncritted horn. But overall, very, very strong equipment setup, I'll say, with airtight and toppler on his pincer setup, and Raider to kind of fill out the demolisher area, and then Watchman is also really good. Overall, very, very strong infantry pincer setup, very nice. And he has another infantry on his Ragnar. This time, I think this is kind of work in progress because he does have infantry helmet, set helmet, with 2 pieces of glorious goddess pieces, which will give you maximum amount of health, I believe. With 2-piece set of the infantry Eternal Knight's Empire, helmet and gloves. He has Hope Cloak. He has KPK weapon. So I think he might currently be working on this as more of like, okay, he's gonna split the set up so that he can make another infantry set, as he said. Not 200% sure, but I actually did not see this. I thought this was KPK Element when I was making this PowerPoint, so that my apologies there. And currently is sitting on what is this? The Ragnar Roblox artifact and ring, but yeah, so that's pretty good either way. Either way, pretty strong setup, I'll say. maximum health setup that I personally prefer for infantry. And he is sitting on a good wedge setup with 6 inscriptions with Hunter, Assertive for all damage. No, the extra all damage. War Hunger, I think, also gives you either attack or all damage. Shielded for. I think Shielded gives you defense or. I forgot what Shielded does, but overall, very, very strong armaments and inscriptions that I've seen that they work on top of Hunter, which is really, really good. He's sitting on a little bit lower on the end of the stats, but overall, very, very strong. Infantry number 2, especially for wedge formation. And I see that he is actually. Wait, hold on. I see that he is currently working on. What's this called? The wish list for Hunter, which I don't recommend at all, 100%. So I'll go over that in a later slice. But yeah, you should never put the legendary inscriptions for Hunter. You should never put legendary inscriptions for banner. So you should never do it for the scroll slot or the banner slot, but you should always do it for these two, instrument and emblem slot, because they're harder to come by than the scroll or banner setup. Because those two you can get this the hunter, you can always get it from the altar shop, and then balance you can always get it from the mileage shop, but the instrument and emblem, there's no other way to get it for guaranteed except for from the wish list. So I'll say go ahead and change this to this one over here or this one over here is my recommendation, as you do it for your pincer setup, right? Yeah, so very strong setup. Let's just go ahead and move on to Guan Yu. Guan Yu setup, he has 3 infantry setup. That is very interesting. He has the Eternal Empire helmet, Eternal Empire gloves, but he's running Hope Cloak and Eternal Night Credit, and then Hammer of the Sun and Moon, and then Horn and Ring. So very interesting setup that he has. Compared to the first one that was almost perfect. So, yeah, I don't know if that's all because he's working on a certain sets right now. I'm assuming that he's actually working on swapping those Hope Cloaks out to Eternal Empire set, so he can actually get those 10% Mars speed from the 4-piece bonus. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but in terms of just overall setup, this is actually not bad. And he has Horn and Ring, so that's the most important part of the setup. Nice. And he has Breaker, which is actually really good. I think this gives you like defense break to a degree, so that's really nice. Militant gives you all damage. Brutal, I think, gives you attack or something like that. Pursuer is kind of whatever, but Ward is really good. Overall, not a lot of stats, but a lot of march speed, which is really good for infantry. So not a bad set. And so he has, look at this, guys. He has 1, 2, 3 infantry set, and he has 4 set for his archers, because you guys gotta have an archer setup because in 2025 because of how strong Chinchwag is. He has a 4 setup in leadership set. So he has never crafted anything that is not infantry set or leadership set. That is wild, guys. That is wild. And guess what? He said, and maybe another infantry set. Oh my god. Very, very interesting guy. Definitely an infantry simp, I'll say. Surprisingly, wedge formation is not too bad. Spirited is really good. Vitality is really good. So he's just missing the hunter. But yeah, full Goddess of Glory setup with a ring and drum. I think he never really crafted archer setup. That's why he has the archers actually have the leadership stuff. Obviously, I think he understands how stats work and all that stuff. So what I'll recommend is that once he crafts this archer setup, that is actually suited for archers with Dragon Breath set, I think he can actually move this around to a leadership march that will buff up all the other marches around. But right now, for now, I think using those are okay, especially when those are not critics. So, okay. Interesting. Now, current setup that he shared with me, which is interesting because he actually told me that he's running Ragnar, Scipio, Luce, William Wallace, Luce Alex, Baichi William Wallace, and then Chishiwan YSG. Although he shared his other arch formation on on Guan Yu. I'm assuming this is a Lucia set, but yeah. So that's what he's shared with me, which is all pretty nice, I would say. They're all kind of semi-meta or meta commander pairings, so that's good. And the general issue that I found was you have too many infantry sets. With 3 infantry set, 1 leadership set, you run out of optimal comps for the infantry, right? Like if you don't have CJ, you have to pull in, Alex to be paired up with Liu Che because you have 3 infantry set up, right? And like if I were to say, if you were to consolidate those 3 pairings into 2, I would say Bai Chu Liu Che, and then Ragnar Prime and Scipio Prime, right? Those are really really strong meta pairing, but because you're making too many infantry sets, I feel like you have to kind of use I would say like non-meta pairings. But you're in luck, fortunately, because new infantry commander most likely gonna be a smite commander is just around the corner. So if Liu Che gets his pairing, you technically are golden and balling, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so that's basically what it is. Qin Shi Huang and Y is just really really nice too. So but yeah, I would say in general, too many infantry sets not usually the best idea. And given that you're using same blueprints only, it's harder for you to get higher crits and iconics as fast as others. Yeah. So for example, if you wanted to crit an iconic your Hammer of Sun and Moon, it is a lot difficult for you to actually do that because you have 3 marches that are using Hammer of Sun and Moon right now. So yeah, so that's why you gotta spread out your equipment, in my opinion, because there's only 2 at maximum infantry KVK weapon that you can actually get per KVK, right? So there's a limit on how many you can actually get per KVK. So yeah, if you just copy and paste the same marches over and over again, it is actually a lot more difficult for you to, get them up to higher crits and iconic tiers. So that's just an issue of making too many infantry sets, I would say. And then no cavalry makes one of the best marches go to waste, best march options to go to waste, which is Arthur Achilles, in my opinion. And the fact that you have to include like Liu Che Alex instead of consolidating that to Bai Chi Liu Che and then adding an Arthur Achilles is not even an option for you is a little bit of a problem. So yeah, that's what I would say. That's the general issues with the infantry sets that you have. Although I will say that your leadership set used to be on this Trajan right here, and I think that's Mulan. Trajan, Mulan. But you just found out that Qin Shi Huang and YSU was just too overpowered to kind of, let that pass, is my opinion. So I'm assuming that's what you actually did, right? And current equipment setups are good. I said that because I actually, unfortunately, did not see the Eternal Empire set. So I'll actually edit this live right now. Current crisis okay, but you made too many KVK weapons. Yeah, because you already made 3 KVK weapons. It's difficult for you to make. Yeah, there's room for you to actually dismantle it without. If you want to make anything optimal, I would say you have to dismantle something. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So I would say KVK weapon and Hope Cloak. I would suggest looking into making KVK replacing E helmet with KVK helmet, or replacing the current KVK chest piece. No, yeah, current Hope Cloak to Eternal Empire infantry set chest piece. That's what I would suggest, right? So current setups are okay. I mean, it's gonna have punching power in the field, right? But then again, you made too many KVK weapons and Hope Cloaks. That means whenever you have a KVK weapon, you usually do need a pairing of KVK weapon with KVK helmet, but you didn't do that. So one way to fix that is for you to still make 4-piece set and just utilize a KVK weapon, just because of how much of a difference that KVK weapon has compared to the Eternal Empire shield. 5% is a huge difference. So I would say either you get the KVK helmets and then replace your current helmets, or you can look into replacing the Hope Cloak with Eternal Empire chest piece, so that you can complete your 4-piece set bonus for your infantry for the second and the third set. I will say, yeah. So yeah, for second and the third set, yeah, that's what I would suggest. However, I also suggest that you craft cavalry and archers eventually. A cavalry set, I gave you a list of things that you need to get, which is KVK weapon, or Hellish Wasteland weapon and helmet. So it's really up to you which one you want to go with. I'm assuming that you want to go with Hellish Wasteland set weapon and helmet, just because of the fact that you will need your KVK coins into your infantry. I'm assuming, and then you can get Novice Control, Hellish Wasteland boots, chest piece, and Ash of the Dawn and ring and horn, or a drum and horn is what I recommend for your cavalry. And for your archer set, I would say 4-piece Dragon Breath or full Dragon Breath set. If you're going 4-piece Dragon Breath set, just go ahead and use 2 KVK setup. I'm assuming that you're not going that route. I just suggest that you go full Dragon Breath set. And then use ring and pendant or drummer horn is what I would recommend. And then pivot your leadership back to Trajan and Philip, or Trajan and Mulan, or Trajan and John, whatever you like to actually do that you were doing before. So this is what I would suggest in terms of commander. I would say Ragnar, Scipio, Bai Chu. This is your current setup. Ragnar, Scipio, Bai Chu, William Wallace. Yeah, this is fine. But if the new infantry comes in, I would say look at what's the best commander pairing. If it is that the new commander pairing needs to be paired up with Bai Chu, then you can actually utilize the William Wallace with Liu Che, vice versa. Just make sure that you use your first and second infantry setup that uses pincer or arch mixed up with that infantry, the new infantry commander, to make sure that they are all meta. And then if you make your cavalry and archer setup, I'll say your eventual 6 march lineup looks like this. Whereas we still are not sure what you're going to do with Bai Chu, Liu Che, and the new commander and William Wallace. Just make the best pairing out of it. But Qin Shi Huang Wai is just fine. Ragnar and Scipio Prime is fine, and then Arthur Achilles is my best suggestion, and then whatever leadership commander pairing that you had before. Armaments, again, I think I gave a little bit of my suggestions earlier, but focus on getting the scroll slot from Autarch. Let me just go ahead and Autarch only, not from wishlist. So yeah, that's what let me just go ahead and highlight that, because this is the most important part in this, right? There you go. Yeah, because I saw you try to get it for the Autarch, so. And my recommendation is that get the pity set on. Let's just make sure that he understands, because he doesn't seem to have a little bit of difficult time understanding English 100%. I said, just get the wish list set on pincer instrument for demolisher for special inscription. Even for wedge, I would say just go ahead and set it on instrument, just because eventually you can actually swap it out to demolisher, which is where we can see the strongest power at this very moment. Of course, that could change as the new formations gets released into next year, but right now that's the current best option. So I would suggest those. And again, this needs to stop. Make sure you get that changed up to instrument or emblem, like I said. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. All right, I hope you guys actually enjoyed today's video. And special thanks to Kenny for sharing his most infantry simp account that I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, and being an infantry simp is good, but then yeah, look outside of just infantry. I'll say that is what's needed the most from your account, and also at the same time, just make sure that you have for the second and the third set especially, right? The first set is fine. But second and third set, just make sure if you're going to go with the set bonus, make sure you do get the set bonus for those. So yeah, so that's what I would suggest for that. Wait, let's just go ahead and yeah, for second and third infantry sets, I think that's where you're having the most amount of problem. I just want to make sure that there's no kind of discrepancy between what I'm saying and what he's understanding. So yeah. So this is okay, by the way. Yeah, this is okay. Your Baichu is okay. But your Ragnar set is not okay. Like it's okay, but it's better if you just have the infantry set pieces. Well, I think even like for this it might be okay, right? Because it still has 2-piece bonus. But yeah, but Guan Yu setup is kind of messy, so yeah. So if you can, I would say just go ahead and get that changed up to Eternal Empire set. So yeah, for third infantry set, I think this second set I think is fine. Like it's not the most optimal, I'll say, but he does have 2 pieces of leadership, and then 2 pieces of yeah. So it might be fine. But yeah, I would suggest that you replace those with KVK stuff so that you can maximize the bonus at the end of the day. So anyways, I hope you guys had a great time reviewing this account with me and giving suggestions to him with me. Hope you guys are having a great day. And if you guys did enjoy today's video, please go ahead and drop me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video, guys. Peace.